you know what would make that intro really good is if you
What's that?
fit the whole fucking
Oh,
logo
my
into
God.
the
Hey,
thing. Also,
everybody.
anybody that's listening and not watching, stop what you're doing, go to YouTube, Bass and
Okay.
Brews Podcast, and go look at this. Alex has a new booster seat. You know how I know he got a new one? Because his head's kind of cut off at the top.
why
And
is it like
that
that?
means he got a new booster seat because the padding's a little thicker and he's sitting a
Phone
little
book
bit
got
higher.
bigger. Phone book got bigger.
You must have had to give your old one to one of your little girls, and you had to get a new one for your office. You're looking beautiful, though. But Alex is here tonight, y'all. He wasn't here last week. He had the oops and poops. He was leaking from the basement and had a hole in his garage, in his attic.
Listen, folks, when I'm telling you, when Paul was like, it can't be that bad, I'm trying to text Paul, but I literally am shitting my brains out, and I have a bucket in my lap so I can vomit at the same time. Like, it was the worst.
Wow.
I told him.
Yeah.
I didn't
Welcome
tell
to the show.
Alex. I didn't tell Alex this, but when DW and I were on, I told him that I told Alex that Alex just needed to bring a bucket to sit on, but then all we would see was his eyebrows and up. It's not tall enough. And Alex is the only man alive that I have ever met that if he had to shit on a bucket, his feet wouldn't touch the ground.
Hey, everybody. Welcome to your weekly distraction from Quality Podcast. It's Bass and Brews. We're back. I hope you guys are having a good Friday, Saturday, whatever fucking day you listen to this. We have an
Alex,
OG.
How did you get more gray hair on your sideburns of your beard than I did in the last 6 months?
I don't know, dude. It's just having to deal with your ass. Listen, hey, if you want to help support the show,
just for men.
Exactly. No,
it's
too late now.
The only reason he doesn't have gray hair on his mustache and his little part of his goatee is because that's how many cigarettes he smokes.
Hey, if you want to help support the show, head over to patreon.com/Bass and Brews. Go become a producer of the show. That'll give you access to the monthly live show, Last Call with Alex and Paul, where Paul and I sit around and we talk to you, the producers, and we have a good time. Other than that, we've got Steve from Slab Dynasty here. If you've listened to this show for a long time, Steve was in our first 20 episodes. I got to look it up now.
Wasn't that far? Wasn't that? Look,
yes,
y'all,
it was.
It's been so long since Steve has been on. He's made 2 babies with his wife.
It's been a long time.
And he moved.
It's been a hot minute. Yeah. What episode number is this, by the way?
This is going to be episode 208.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's awesome, guys.
While Alex is looking for that, we'll give you a little recap on Steve, aka Slab Dynasty. Steve was in the Raleigh area. He never took me fishing. He went to UNC just like me. He started the UNC Bass Fishing Club.
Yep.
And that was pretty cool. And that's a great story. You got to go back and listen to that episode because he talks about them going to the club sports meeting all dressed up and shit. And all these other clubs are there, and they were asking for like $500, $1,000. And Steve and 2 or 3 other guys show up in shirt and ties and ask for $10,000.
Yeah,
got it. And so UNC
to go bass fishing.
Club Bass Fishing started. He still has it. It is called Slab Dynasty on YouTube. He was a rising YouTube star, and then he moved. He moved about 3 hours away from me. They bought old family farm from his wife. I'm giving a recap because this is stuck in my mind. And
this is mostly accurate. Yep.
All accurate. They didn't have any kids at the time. They bought the farm. We kept in touch. He still didn't take me fishing. He started building a pond.
Is this when he got heavily into drugs, right? And that would happen next? Like it's one of those VH1 behind the scenes.
Just like a whole saga of ups and downs.
The rise and fall of Slab Dynasty.
Slab Dynasty took a hiatus, and then his other 2 partners, one being his brother, I can't remember his name. They started making, who?
Yep. CJ.
CEJAYE, CJ. They started making some content. They moved to the western part of the state, but not all the way in the western part of the state. And then all of a sudden, all the content I see coming up on this shit is fly fucking shit. And we sat here and talked about how much fly anglers were bitches and they were the most hateful people, that they had commented on their videos because they would do some fly fishing in the creeks. And now we've got to the point that Steve has 2 churns. He's got a bass pond. I'm not sure if he still has a boat. If he does, he still hasn't taken me on it. He doesn't come this way anymore. He has shunned us like 18 times on the podcast. And these motherfuckers turned their Slab Dynasty podcast or YouTube channel from catching big ass motherfucking Raleigh bass into fly fishing.
Yeah.
Steve.
Yeah.
How are you doing, man? Give us a recap of your life the last.
Great to see you too. Most of that is true. I need to take you fishing. I mean, that's all there is to it.
That's basically what it boils down to, right?
It's true. It's mostly true. Just maybe a little bit of exaggeration here and there, making me out to to be this fly guy when I'm still a bass angler at heart.
Right,
I
good,
really am.
I haven't seen a bass fishing video from you in 2 years.
Yeah, well, that's how YouTube has kind of worked out for us, for better or for worse. The fly fishing stuff has definitely taken over the channel. It's done well for us recently. But I mean, what you said about life changes is it's true. It has been difficult to kind of keep the channel going when you have 2 kids and all this other crazy stuff going on. So yeah. So, 2, not quite 2 under 2. We've got 1, and I'll do a whole life story here real quick. Holden was born in 2022, May of 22. He is now 2.5 years old, going on 3. And then we had Nora about almost exactly 2 years after that. So a boy and a girl.
Stellar names for your kid, honestly. Those are like absolutely, I'm not even giving lip service. Like, those are fucking cool ass names for kids. I dig it.
Oh, thank you. Yeah.
Way better than fucking Alex.
Right? Or Paul. Who names their kid Paul?
Come on. Steve. I mean,
right?
Steve
Exactly.
Smith. That's pretty terrible.
Right?
Stephen A. Smith.
My name is Steve. No fucking way I'm naming my son Steve Jr. This motherfucker's going to be Holden.
No, I feel like Steve is like the generic name they use for some dude like in a joke.
Instead of John Doe, it's just Steve Smith. Yeah.
When you say my name's Steve Smith, they're right. They see you right away. They're like, this motherfucker fly fishes.
Yeah, I think that's true. Now I've got like the little hat with the rope. Now this is what I wear.
Old man hat.
Dad hat.
And the dad hat. That's what all the fly bros wear. But yeah, I mean it's been crazy busy. We did build a pond out here, and that is an ongoing saga. We did some videos on that, and basically what happened was I hired a guy. I did what you're not supposed to do. I got some bids, and I went with the cheapest one. By far.
Steve.
They put goldfish in.
Well, I'm talking about actually digging the pond, like the contractor who came out and dug the pond. And, nice guy. I think we just weren't like clear on what exactly we wanted. And he kind of stopped when it was like 75% of the way done. And it just wasn't exactly, it's kind of like weird shaped and it's like really shallow on one end. But fast forward to today, and I've done a bunch of work on it. I mean, way too much work, putting like rocks along the bank and digging some other parts out with my tiny little tractor. It's taking forever.
Did you get a little track hoe or something and be like, fuck this, I'm doing this on my own?
Exactly. Yeah, that's exactly what I did. I got a little subcompact tractor, 26 horsepower, and it takes like 8 days to move, a cubic foot of dirt. But
yard and a half bucket on it.
Yeah.
Nice.
But it's starting to take shape. We got a well put in. That was the other problem, is it didn't fill up really with rain. That was one thing I kind of miscalculated, was how much watershed it was going to capture. And you need a certain amount of watershed if you're only going to rely on rain. and it's filled up actually a pretty good bit with rain, but we got a well drilled, and we're going to use that for some other stuff, for some irrigation, things like that. But I'm just now getting done building like this little dry creek bed that I'm going to run the well into and fill up the pond. It's going to be lined with rocks and stuff like that. So
how many acres is the pond, and how deep is it at the dam?
It's about 2 acres, a little under 2 acres. And probably when it's full, the deepest it'll be about 8 foot, which is pretty good.
Yeah, they'll be able to make it through the winter and the summer real good.
Yeah. And with that well water coming in, that well water is just like a constant temperature, year round. So
listen, Steve, you really missed out.
Dick shrivel up.
You really missed out. It sounds like how the pond was before was the perfect description of our podcast. One side too fucking big, the other one too small, doesn't work right. Like, we should have sponsored that fucking pond, Paul. Like, that should have been the Bass and Brews pond. Like, ain't no fish in it, but there's a shit ton of White Claw surge.
the janky ass mud hole.
Exactly. The motherfucker don't fill up with water.
No. Somehow White Claw surge just seeps up through the ground and fills it up. It's the craziest thing ever.
It's just a White Claw swimming pool.
Hey, to recap back, Steve, you were on episode 16, so you are now on episode 208, which is July. Yeah, dude, he came on July 2021.
I did not think it was. I thought it was more
It's a
like
long
the
time
50s,
ago.
60s.
Oh. No, he came on.
Shit.
No. Steve was your first podcast as a co-host when we had a guest. Yes.
No.
Yes.
We didn't do 12, 13, 14, and 15 without a guest.
No. You were on, and then I did a couple of episodes solo still, and then we were supposed to have Steve on, and all those years ago, he still dogged us, and he couldn't make it that week. So your first one as the co-host was just me and you talking, and then your first one as the official co-host.
Sure?
I just looked it up, dipshit.
13 or 14, 15 didn't have anybody? No shit. Well, that's crazy then. That means Steve was the first person I ever brought on the podcast.
Oh, wait, never mind. I lied. There's a bunch of other people. Shit, my bad.
I told you.
I was
But
so
Steve,
adamant, too. I was like, I just looked.
Hey, but Steve was the first person that I got as a guest.
Yes. And that's good that he's going to be the last guest of the Bass and Brews podcast. That's good.
Yep. This is it, Steve. You ended Bass and Brews podcast.
Oh, wow.
Yep, we're going into the pond making business. Just Paul and I making shitty ponds across America.
Y'all come on over and help me.
Paul, here
I've helped build quite a few ponds when I worked for a land clearing business guy.
Hey,
there you go.
Steve, how far from Raleigh are you now?
About 3 hours.
Listen,
so I'm in Shelby, North Carolina, just north of Shelby.
Here's what it is, Paul.
Kenny fucking Powers.
Oh,
North
shit.
Carolina.
I thought that name
Kenny
was familiar.
Powers. Yep.
Kenny Powers.
Here's the deal.
Yeah.
On my way to see you in a month, Paul, I'm going to stop by Steve's pond in the middle of the night. I'm going to fill that bitch up with fucking dirt because it's going to take him so long.
For you to go to Steve before you came to me would be about an 8-hour detour.
That's fine. If I could creepy, hide in the bushes during the day and at night slowly fill up that pond, so he has to go back out there and try to excavate it out.
All the dirt that he piled up is still there.
Oh shit!
So because I haven't been able to move it. I mean, it's still sitting there. So.
Just make a sick bike ramp for the kids, and they just launch themselves into the pond.
Yeah, I was thinking about like a gun range or
there you go.
I'm thinking about putting a golf green out there, someday. But yeah, one crazy project at a time. Once I wrap this one up, we'll see.
Steve, most of y'all's content has been fly fishing shit. Obviously, y'all were somewhat affected. I don't know how much by the Hurricane Helene that came in there because it came right through Shelby.
Yeah,
and all that. So are you doing any bass fishing, or is it pretty much all fly fishing stuff that you're doing now?
Man, you're not gonna like this, but I have not bass fish, truly bass fish off a boat, tournament style bass fish in quite a long time. I
Since
did sell my
episode
boat.
16 of Bass
Yeah,
and
since
Brews.
episode 16 of Bass and Brews. 200
That's-
I mean,
episodes
not
ago.
far off, but no.
Another bass fishing career we fucking put to an end.
Let's go.
I mean, look, it's typical excuse. Kids came to the picture. And really just like this place too, and the amount of money we've had to spend just keeping up with 20 acres and doing the pond and doing all that. It's like,
Didn't y'all have to
I do
renovate the
not
house
have,
too?
we did. Yeah. We had to renovate the house. I do not have the time or the capital to devote to going out and keeping up with these, quite frankly, freaks that are out here being successful at tournament fishing these days. You know, these guys are so hardcore, and I still keep up with it. I'm still a fan. Like, I watch Bassmasters, I watch MPFL, I keep up with all of the news and current events. I mean, I've got all these thoughts about live scope and all that. You know, I don't know if we want to go down that rabbit hole, but
we will. Well, hey, you know, you also moved into kind of a no man's land. Like, you got some good lakes towards the Charlotte area, but that's
got Lake Norman.
Hour and a half. Well, probably the northern end of the lake, I guess, on Lake Norman, you're probably not too far from.
I'm like an hour 15 from the closest ramp on Norman, and then I'm closer to Lake James.
Yeah.
Yep. Which I haven't been out there yet. I'd like to get out there.
You better go catch those smallmouth now, because in a few years it's going to all be spots.
Spots, yeah.
Yep. They're going to ruin it for about 10 years before shit settles down.
Yeah.
But you went from the Raleigh area, where we have Falls, Jordan, and a handful of other small municipal lakes that you could fish that have big bass, and now you're in spot hell. Man,
I tell a lot of people, I probably shouldn't, but I tell a lot of people that Raleigh-Durham area is just amazing for largemouth bass. I mean, it's like one of the premier areas of at least the East Coast, and I would say the country. I mean, just I miss it. I really do. It took me a little while. I was pretty psyched about moving out here, being closer to the mountains and doing the trout stuff. But now that I've been, you know, out of the bass game for a while, I'm starting to really miss it. I'm starting to miss the Raleigh area. I miss getting out on Falls Lake and knowing that any cast could be just a freaking giant.
Wait. So you're tired of catching 11-inch trout and trying to act like it's the biggest thing ever and keep your hands wet? I have watched the videos.
11-incher would be like a 10-pounder.
They're
catching
tiny.
creek chubs and shit.
It's really funny.
Like,
it looks pretty though. It looks pretty.
I have to hype myself up about that stuff for the camera, but deep down, I'm like, man, like I used to not get excited about bass that could eat this fish.
Yeah, exactly.
And you know, there are big trout out there though. That's the thing. Like, there's big, like especially brown trout, and they're elusive, man. I'll tell you one thing that I've loved about fly fishing is that success can be a lot harder to come by.
Yeah,
I mean,
I agree with that.
When you're talking about stockers, it's a different story. But finding like wild trout, like the water's just more of a well-kept secret. You know, when people find good wild trout water, they are not talking about it. Whereas, you know, some of these bass lakes, they're lakes. Everyone knows about them. They're there. You can see them on a map. You can see tournament results, things like that. You still got to figure them out. But man, the big wild trout game, finding them, because there's guys who catch them. There's guys who like have these spots and they're really good at, you know, dangling the little nymphs and they catch them. You know?
Doesn't even sound fucking cool. Like, watch me roll cast my nymph into the pool. Like, it sounds dumb.
But hey,
streamer fishing is fun. But that's really fun.
All of it sounds stupid.
It's like fishing a swim bait.
What are you out there with flags dancing around?
Exactly. It's
like
ribbon dancer. They're just.
That's when you say I'm streamer fishing. I think you're out there in some Daisy Dukes and a cut off belly shirt with some stringers floating them around. And
why, on the other end of it, it's like, oh, I was punching mats, and then I threw a jackhammer in. Like, I think maybe fly fishing just has a brand issue where.
Well, let me back up real quick. We've kind of passed it, but I do want to talk about it because I had a team bass boat tournament this past weekend on Falls. with my buddy Joe. We're fishing the Cat Old South Trail. And the first tournament I couldn't make, he fished with a sub. They finished 11th, first out of the money. This weekend we finished 11th, and we were the last check. So we got our entry. We got most of our entry fee back. But so talking about falls, Steve, and the Raleigh area, the winner had 34 plus pound bag with a 10-1.
Yeah.
Second and third place both had 25-5 or 25-4 and 25-3. Wow. We came in with 16-7 or something with 3 fish. We could not find 2 fish. But
that's how those lakes were, man. I always would say, like, you catch a limit on any of those lakes, one of them's going to be a giant.
One of them's going to be good.
And maybe a few of them are going to be giants.
Yeah. Right. It was kind of tough. There was, there were like 10, there were 50 boats, 10 people left before the tournament was over. But I caught a 5, a 5.7, and a 6.8 within like 15 minutes of each other.
Wow.
And we thought we were on to something, and we fished it hard and just couldn't get any more bites. And then we were scrambling the rest of the day trying to find some bullshit. But there were some big fish caught.
Should have got out and got some brown trout.
There's no brown trout in those lakes.
I'm sure there's turds.
Unless you hang your ass over the boat. There ain't no brown trouts in them bitches. But
dude, we've got to get like an intro when we talk about poop on the water that it just comes up and it's that old like rainbow commercial. And instead of the more you know, it says fishers, floaters, and it's just like a turd goes across the screen. I think that's the next move.
Yeah, you had to pull that up. I've never
just opening a live well and there's a turd floating in there.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Oh wait, that might be worse than when I said that I would just cook like so Steve, we were talking about like co-angling and how I'd be the worst co-angler ever because I would like just make a mess on the back of the boat, start cooking out of the live well, like taking the guy's catch and just start grilling that thing up. But that might be worse, where like he goes in and he's like, "Where's all my fish?" And be like, "Oh no, yours is on the other side." He looks in there and there's just like 9 turds in there. Yeah.
It's just soup, just brown soup in there, and it's swirling from the recirculator.
Yeah, exactly.
I can't remember who said it. It's been 3 years since I heard it, but somebody was talking about in opens they were fishing, and they look back, and their co-anglers like in their draws, and he has shit himself, and he did not want to tell the boater who was telling this story. He didn't want to tell him to go to the bank because they were fishing. And so he was back there trying to hold it. And he shat himself.
It happens.
And he was down to his underwear for some reason. And then he ended up, I think at some point, getting butt-ass naked.
So I swear, every tournament I fished and I would try to time it right where I'd have my coffee like pretty early, as soon as I woke up, like, all right, I got to get this in my system, make sure I get some food in me. And so this timing doesn't line up like in the worst possible way. And every damn time I would have to take a shit 5 minutes before takeoff. That's just how it works. And it would happen co-angling too. And there was one time where it was High Rock Lake, BFL. We got to our spot and I was like, dude, I'm sorry, but I'm going to have to run on the bank. And we were in like the swamp too. We were like way upriver on the Yadkin. And he luckily had some toilet paper in one of his compartments that he gave to me. And I had to find a spot. And I mean, it wasn't that bad, but I mean, it was, it was like nervous, like coffee shits, like it's coming.
Yeah.
Ain't no hold that. Well, that's the thing too, is if you don't shit if you have to shit at the ramp and you like, oh, okay, I think I can hold this in and make a solid turd after the tournament. If you have to go shit, in the last 15 to 20 minutes before you blast off, that goddamn porta potty has been stacked.
Oh, yeah.
For at least an hour and a half. People have been shitting in there.
Yeah. Or it's like a state park, like just hole in the ground. That's
there's
10 years of shit in there.
There's a poo mountain and you gotta hover, otherwise the poo mountain is
flies
over
just
there peeking into your
coming up out of there.
peeking into your booty
Listen,
hole, and now you're wiping somebody else's dookie off your butt.
Yeah,
Jesus.
many times. Yes.
Hey, Paul, do you remember what Joe Cermelli said his way to combat this?
Yep.
So Steve, ever since we had this guy Joe Cermelli from the Cut and Retie podcast, he told us his secret to the poo situation
Before
when
he
you're
leaves
going
the house. This is how he shits before he leaves.
So before he leaves the house, and I've done this since he told us, and it is so efficient.
Oh, this
what
is
you
good.
do
I need to know this.
is you go outside immediately. You wake up, get a cold glass of water, go outside. I'd like to do it in just my underwear because you're trying to shock the system into being awake.
None of that matters.
Right? And then you chug that fucking water, and then you chug like another cup.
Breath.
Yeah.
You take some deep breaths, and you come
So
back
you're
inside.
trying to basically shock your system into shitting.
Get your heart rate going.
Right. Yeah. So it's worked. And then he also had follow-up advice. If it doesn't work, then you take like a gallon of milk of magnesia, and you just block it up so you won't shit for days. So that's the solution.
That's the backup.
Yeah, exactly.
That needs to be like plan Q, not plan B.
Right. Yeah. You either shit in 5 minutes or you're not shitting for a week. You basically put your butthole in timeout. That's how it works. If you're not going to cooperate.
Steve, do you still have the boat?
I did not. I sold the boat.
You sold it?
Yep.
So I'm gonna have to take your ass
sad
fishing.
day. Yeah. Or if you want to come fly fishing,
Yeah, as long as we can camp.
I won't tell anyone about it. We can keep it a secret.
No, we need to see footage.
I'm gonna raise hell.
Okay, perfect.
Raise hell, praise Dale, because you and NASCAR land over there.
Paul's going to be out there.
You.
He's going to be out there with a fly rod trying to like set up a roll cast with a spinner bait attached to the end of it. Like this thing don't run well. Can you imagine him bass setting on one of those little creek trout?
Y'all be surprised. I haven't casted a fly rod in probably 20 years, but I bet, give me 5 minutes, and I bet I could surprise you with how well I could cast a fly rod.
Bring one, Paul.
I don't have one. I have to borrow one of Steve's.
A lot of the rivers around here, you don't even need to know how to cast. You just have to like flick it, basically. Yeah. So you'll do fine.
Bring my ugly stick, ultralights, and I'm good to go.
I mean, yeah, you could do that if you want to.
And a can of corn.
There's no shame in that. I don't shame anyone who does that.
And a can of corn.
No, that's getting a little, yeah.
Hey, here's what we're gonna do, Steve. I'm gonna come out there. We're gonna go fishing. We're gonna go around. We're gonna find. You're gonna take me to an area where there's like hardcore motherfucking fly anglers out there, and I'm gonna go out there in my underwear. And a tight shirt with an ugly stick and a can of corn.
See, look, the thing is, you will fit right in. Okay,
sweet.
Like, you got to go out to Montana or something to like actually piss like real fly fish.
I was about to say, Paul, not even an ultralight. You got to go out with like an ugly stick, but like the deep sea fishing ugly stick.
A surf rod.
Exactly. A fucking 11-foot surf rod.
50-pound big game, high vis yellow on it.
For every one of me, every fly angler, there are like 100 hillbillies in the mountains that shit how they catch a trout. They just want it in their bucket, you know.
Bucket brigade.
Yeah. So they need to get their supper, which is fine. There's places we could go where you're not allowed to do that. It's like catch and release. So we could go there, and there'll probably be some more fly anglers.
So when we had you on, y'all were doing fly fishing stuff, but y'all were doing it kind of the hillbilly way, which you just described, right? It was spinning rods, and y'all didn't have the shit. And you said during that podcast that the fly anglers used to give you the fucking shittiest, meanest comments.
Oh yeah.
So since y'all been posting a lot more fly fishing videos, do y'all still get those comments, or y'all carved out a little bit of an area where people are nice to you?
Yeah, I mean, it's YouTube, so you get everything. We definitely still get people who want to tell us what we're doing wrong. They'll see like one weird cast and they'll be like, you suck at casting, you know? And it's like a weird cast, like in the wind or something. You know, I'm trying to think, we had a guy who's like, you know, we had like a tough day in this one video, and this guy got on, and I think he was a guide, to be honest with you. And he was, because someone commented and replied to him and was talking about some guide service. He's like, oh, it's super easy. You just don't know what you're doing, you know, something like that. And I was like, dude, like these are stocked fish. Like they might not even been stocked when, like, you know, in a couple weeks when we went out there, and they could have been freshly stocked when you went there. It's you know, fly fishing in North Carolina is it's a mixed bag. It's really not, you don't really get the true fly fishing experience unless you go out west, because you're dealing with true wild stream-born trout out there. You're dealing with a whole hell of a lot better management. North Carolina is not quite up there as far as, it's still good. Don't get me wrong. And you can find good stuff. You can find stuff away from the crowds. You find wild fish.
You
gotta work for it.
Though, in North Carolina,
you really do.
Talking about terrain. North Carolina has the third most, I think, either the second. I think it's the second most waterfalls in the continental U.S. And it might be the third most waterfalls out of all the states in North Carolina. So that tells you that if you're going to go run a creek or a stream or a river in the mountains of North Carolina to try to find some of these purebred fish, like you're going to have to work.
You got to hike. We've been in some crazy situations trying to get to some untapped water, man. I mean, and that's half of the fun of it that you don't get with something like bass fishing quite as much. You know, you're going to some absolutely drop dead gorgeous places, seeing waterfalls. You know, we found a couple creeks that you know, we weren't sure a person had ever fished, you know, at least in many, many years. And that's really cool. And that's why you get excited about like a 10-inch fish. Because when you're up there that high, you know, you're up at like 4,000 or 5,000 feet, and the creek's like as wide as a road. A 10-inch fish truly is a monster, and it's a native. It's probably going to be a native brook trout, which is 10-inch for one of those is gigantic.
Right.
On your treks that you were talking about, are y'all doing camping fish, or is it usually one-day things? Or y'all doing some camping stuff?
We definitely do some camping stuff. Not as much, but it's something we want to do more of. We just recently went out to the Chattooga River, South Carolina, Georgia border. It's actually where Deliverance was shot. So, and man, that is a gorgeous place. The fishing absolutely sucked. It was January, frigid cold. We didn't catch anything. But man, it's a cool place.
I worked with a guy who lived in the town that the banjo player from Deliverance was from. So he was a local celebrity.
Yeah.
And the story goes is that wasn't him playing the banjo. That they had a guy behind him, or there was another guy playing the banjo.
Yeah.
And he was just there. But yeah, funny, good time.
He sure looked like he was playing.
Yeah. Traveler's Rest, right? Were you on the Traveler's Rest area?
Traveler's Rest, pretty close by. Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
Hey,
you start to lose cell service pretty quickly out there.
Update on Steve's comments. What a pain to watch you cast. Barf. That's so far my favorite comment.
Was it barf or a barf emoji?
No, it was BARF. Barf.
I didn't even put it. That was definitely some old school motherfucker that probably has a flip phone with buttons, and he doesn't have emojis.
That's on a recent video, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. That was like, I was casting literally into the wind all day. And I'm just,
with a hook full of corn, and anybody that has ever fished with corn knows that shit don't cast for nothing.
Yeah. Hook full of corn. Some corn scent on there, maybe.
You soak your nymph in a can of corn overnight. Well, I was asking you about camping.
That's an old guide trick.
Oh, speaking of guides and him maybe a guide talking shit about you fishing fucking stock trout and him wanting to get up into his feelings if he's guiding on stock trout, what a little fucking bitch.
Yeah. Gotta make that money, right? Stock trout are notorious.
They gotta put their clients on fish, and they're easy.
Yeah, no. You're wrong, Steve. It has been proven that a stocked rainbow is the hardest fish to catch. I'm just joking. It's fucking stupid easy. You literally can put your wiener in the water, wait 10 seconds, and you can pull out 5 stockies sucking on it like you're in a. Never mind.
Yeah, no, it's kind of true. The thing is, though, when they've got 100 people fishing them for like a week straight in the same hole, they get kind of smart. They do get kind of smart. So if you hit them when they first get stocked, it's crazy. You wait a week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, it starts to get a little weird. And they'll just sit and stare at you.
Yeah, they're not getting smart. They're like your great grand peepaw from World War I with fucking shell shock syndrome.
Yeah.
They have just watched battle erupt over their heads for the last 3 weeks. They're not eating shit. They're like, I'm just going to sit on the bottom and die. Yeah. I don't like what's going on up there. I'm not about it. Everybody keeps floating these garlic bullshit power baits at me. One guy tried to snag me in the face. I'm done with this.
I'm waiting for the corn, is what they say. I'm waiting for the guys to come at night.
Can you imagine they're down there and I'm like, Steve, would you ever bite anything again? And you're like, no, never again. I'm like, what about corn? And you're like, motherfucker, you brought me right back into it.
Yeah.
Hey, I was asking you about camping because our good buddy, we're good buddies now, Jamie Hegarty, he was on a few months ago.
Mm-hmm.
And he's done, I don't know if you watch, a lot of people who make YouTube videos shit don't watch anymore, but I don't know if you keep up with Jamie. But, he's gone out on falls, and then he's in the Wilmington area, and he's gone out there and done some camping and fishing videos.
Yeah.
And I love them. Like, I don't watch a lot of YouTube anymore, but when one of those runs across, TikTok or Instagram, I run to his channel. I want to watch it because I love to camp and fish. And I think it'd be cool as hell if y'all went camping for a night or two and we're out there trudging through the forest, looking for cool water and stuff.
Wasn't that the guy who was camping out of his boat?
Yeah. Yeah, he gets out the boat.
Yeah.
And he had the beaver attack him and he got scared. I'm like, bitch, you're in a boat.
I'm guessing he's camping up in like the Cape Fear River, up there, or is he doing like beach camping or saltwater stuff? Or?
I think he had only done it 2 or 3 times. One of them or 2 of them, at least one of them, I think 2 were on falls, and then one was somewhere on the Cape Fear, I believe. He'd only done a few at that point in time when he was on the podcast. But he bought this tent from Australia that fits on his boat.
That's right. He bought a special boat tent.
Put that shit on the fucking back deck.
Yeah.
And slept in it and had him a little stove on there where he cooked shit, and he fished in the evening and camped and fished a little bit in the morning and then went home.
That's awesome. Yeah, and that Cape Fear system is so crazy. I mean, it's all sorts of backwaters and offshoots, and I mean, it looks like a place not a lot of people really fish a whole lot for bass.
Shit.
Is that true or not?
No, I had my old football coach lived down there this past year. I got to go fish Cape Fear with him, and there's like a tournament a weekend out there.
Really?
They are fishing the shit out of it. I think MLF was there last year, and I think the elites, or either I'm backwards, one of the two.
They're up on the Albemarle and Roanoke, Perquimans.
But you can still come down to the bay there, whatever bay that is, where all those rivers run in.
That's where they're fishing is up northern part of the state.
Excuse me. I'm
Cape Fear is down.
Hold on. Don't listen to anything I just said. Yeah, I was up on that Roanoke and whatever river comes in. I wasn't on the Cape Fear.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah.
I fucked up. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Roanoke is starting to get a little bit more well known, it seems. Yeah. So maybe once somewhat of a secret, but
isn't that where you and y'all went with Scooter Lily a couple times and y'all caught bass? Y'all caught some fucking nice bass, and then y'all go striper fishing with him one time?
We've been out there quite a few times, and it's an amazing fishery. I mean, when the striper are running there, which this time of year is a good time to go, they're I think still moving up towards Weldon and up, towards where the dam is on Roanoke Rapids, but because that's, their spawn run from the Albemarle Sound. But we've been out there when they're like grouped up in the Sound, and you can catch them pretty much every cast. Just crazy. I mean, you catch like 100 in an hour. We've had 200 fish days with him on striper. There's been times where they get up like in the trees too, and you're like up in flooded timber throwing a swim bait, catching like 15-pound stripers. It's crazy.
Hell yeah.
Yeah. That's an awesome trip. I would encourage anyone to go on that trip and book a trip with him. So
Scooter Lily.
Yeah, CWW Inshore Charters.
Yeah, sorry. Cape Fear is the Deep River and the Hall River that come out of Georgia.
Yeah. Yep.
Hey, update on shitty comments on Slab Dynasty. Why don't you just leave the coordinates? Hurts to see another gen blown up on the web. I've decided my whole job is to just read the shitty comments I can find. I love shitty YouTube comments. I think they're the best. And we have somebody who has a catalog of, I mean, a lot of these videos are like 14,000 views. So you can always find some, to be honest though, your community seems real nice for the most part. Everybody seems, they're giving out info. They're great. And then there's one asshole who's like, that's my home water. Way to ruin it.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's
it's
fishing for you. I mean, bass fishing, crappie fishing, brim fishing.
It's more likely in the fly world for sure.
Is it? See, you're dabbling. Dabbled and dabble in both. So you're saying that the fly anglers are the most pissed about the videography side.
Yeah, they're just the most, sensitive, they're just very touchy. You can't do things the wrong way, or
is that because they're lazy and they're like, this hole's real close to the road. Nobody knows about it, but people fish it from when they fish it.
Yeah. It's just, you sometimes hate stereotypes to be true, but like the elitism is very much there in that community. It is. And it's in everything from the brands and the branding, and it's the cost, like it's kind of like golf, like guys get into golf, maybe not quite as much because golf's a little more universal. A lot of people like golf, but why is it that you can pretty much take a wild guess that like some finance dude in his 30s is going to be interested in golf? Because that's just how it's been branded, right? Mm-hmm. Same with fly fishing. It's something that I think people like in a higher tax bracket just kind of gravitate towards for some reason. I don't know why exactly.
More elitist.
It's just been marketed over time as like this thing that's requires taste and skill and finesse, and I don't know.
Speaking on that, have y'all started buying more expensive and high dollar? So y'all are still budget angling?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, we've got good equipment. It's fun to fish with good equipment, but there's a category that I would call like just pure enthusiast equipment that's just marked up so high unnecessarily that you just don't need to do well. And the other thing too is you really fly fishing. You need to spend more money on your line rather than your rod and your reel. Probably line first, rod next, and then reel last. You really don't need an expensive reel. We've got cheap reels.
Yeah, because
which
as long as
looking
you got
at
2 arms, what the fuck you need a reel for?
Yeah.
But also, he spools the reels backwards. Here's a YouTube comment. Is there a reason for installing / winding your fly line backwards on the reel? And you responded back, nope, just a total rookie mistake. And then some random guy that was my first thoughts on viewing the video. Also, your buddy with big boat needs to put him on reel. Much better control of fish. I have fished smokies for over 50 years. Thanks, bud. Nobody asks you.
We get lots of unsolicited fly fishing advice.
Who the fuck gave Grandpa a smartphone? They need to take
also
that shit
the
away
same
and put him
one
in a fucking nursing home
that said, nice work again, guys. Starts off great, right? And then it gives the old wet your hands when handling
that one.
The trout. If you're releasing, it helps them live. And then the best is somebody responds in all fucking caps. These fish don't live much past open day slaughter fence. ... Raised in a tank and will bite anything. ... But fun to catch. ... Grandpa figured out all caps. But he does so
Old
many
man
dots.
yells at cloud.
Right? Oh,
hey,
man.
Hey, Steve, y'all's next video, you need to do some little bass when you throw them back. You know how you take a little bass and you just do a couple somersaults.
Yeah, do that to a fucking
Backflip.
trout.
Backflip. Do that with a couple trout. Let's see
See
what
how many
happens. We'll
comments
read
we
the
get.
bitches on air. It
Oh my
doesn't
god,
matter.
native brook trout.
Yeah, but what you
People
do is
will
you
lose
wet,
their mind.
dude.
Oh
you
my
just
God,
wet your
I'm telling you.
hands first. That's all they said to do.
Yeah,
Just wet your hands
first and
before you
backflip.
yeet those motherfuckers behind you.
My hands are wet. He slid right off them.
Hey, do y'all keep any fish at all?
Trout, not terribly often.
They're too small. You can't eat nothing off that.
We have, but they're honestly, I don't think like that great to eat. Like we will if we're camping and we're in an area where there's there's stocked fish and they're, they've got like a limit on them.
Mm-hmm.
But a lot of times we're in areas with wild fish. We don't really want to keep those. And then other times we're just not like in the mood to eat a stalker or anything like that.
You don't want to mush
a fish that's
and
been
flavor.
fed pellets all its life and lived in a concrete
It survived the slaughter fest. ... Good fun for the kids.
Hey, speaking of the native fish, did y'all have a learning curve on the creek chubs and some of the sunfish that might be in there, identifying those fish? Did y'all really start to try to identify them so you catch them? Because I know y'all have had some videos last year or something where y'all were catching some native creek fish, and it was cool because, oh my God, this is a little 8-inch chub or something like that.
Yeah.
Did y'all have to learn how to identify those fish, and do you target those at all?
The trout are pretty easy to identify.
I'm
just
talking
because
about
they're
the little native shit in the creeks that people don't think about when they're going out. They're looking for rainbows or browns. I'm talking about the chubs and the sunfish and shit.
Yeah, honestly, those it's still. I'm still not completely sure what all of those species are. I mean, I can identify a common creek chub, a horny head chub, some other basic stuff that you run into.
Chub
horny
is
head
always,
chub.
that one's always hitting on you. That one's always like, hey, you look good, Steve. What's
my
up?
My wife can identify a horny head chub real quick.
Yeah. Mine usually runs from it, but
well, at least 2 times she has.
At this point, with 2 kids,
he's potent.
No
Get
more.
the fuck out of here.
Hey, hun, come in the shower. There's a horny head chub in here.
But no, it's I'll tell you. What the hell was that?
Things have changed since you've last been on, Steve.
Yeah, this is Paul.
That kind of scared me a little bit.
Well, Steve, when my wife is like washing her hair or washing her face and her face is full of soap, and she washes it off and opens her eyes, this is what she sees on the other side of the shower door.
It's
Hold
not
on.
far off.
I totally forgot.
Pretty accurate.
It's been a hot minute. So while we're in a mini break here, so you did the shotgun round so many years ago, right? But we have added another game. So remember as a kid, you would play a childhood, a little schoolyard game called Marry, Fuck, Kill.
Okay, yeah.
All right.
I
So
remember,
we're gonna give
yes.
All right, we're gonna give you 3 options. You gotta marry one, fornicate with one, and then kill one. Your options are Bigfoot, aliens, or the Loch Ness monster.
Oh God! Wow.
Well, if you need help with a visual aid, I can help you with that.
It's
So
the shotgun round, Steve. You got to answer it. Who are you going to marry?
Here's Bigfoot.
I think I'm gonna marry. Gosh, that's a tough one. I think I'm gonna marry Bigfoot. I feel like Bigfoot could show me
the ways,
some secrets of the world.
Yeah,
that she lives in. I'm not sure it lives in.
Real quick on the Bigfoot before we move away from Bigfoot, we had a Bigfoot expert on, and that's his job. And I asked him, we have doggy style, we have missionary, we have stuff like that.
This idiot asked him what Bigfoot style was.
I asked him what Bigfoot style was, and he really didn't have an answer. How about you? You're in the mountains of North Carolina. There's some Bigfoot sightings come up there. If you ran up on 2 Bigfoots doing it and they were doing it Bigfoot style, what would that look like?
Paint the picture, Steve. Paint the picture.
There's some folks in some small towns around here that could probably tell you exactly what that would look like. I don't know, because like my mind goes to just probably doggy style.
Yeah.
If you found some Bigfoots,
I think
getting it on,
would
but
be doggy style, but he would be holding her legs.
Maybe doing something with a tree stump,
Oh wow, double penetration.
Well, I don't know.
Something with a tree stump.
Yeah. Hold on, maybe all that crash.
How explicit do we want to get here?
Maybe all that crashing in the woods is a Bigfoot dude knocking over a tree so Lady Bigfoot can use the stump to prop herself before he gets in there.
Yeah. And maybe a situation too where there's trees that have fallen down and they can create like maybe some kind of Bigfoot sex jungle gym.
Yeah, a Bigfoot bondage.
Yeah, exactly. Bigfoot bondage.
Fuck yeah.
Bigfoot bondage.
Got some vines hanging down, tied up.
That's the name of the
vines,
episode.
Yeah.
That's the name of the episode, Bigfoot Bondage with Slab Dynasty.
I don't know if they get that sophisticated with it, but
you're right. You never know.
They say they make huts.
We don't
Bigfoot
know.
Huts and shit.
All right. So you're marrying Bigfoot. You got 2 more.
Loch Ness monster and aliens. You're gonna fuck one. You're gonna kill one.
I don't really know how I could possibly have sex with the Loch Ness monster, so I'm gonna say aliens, because that you don't really know how that's gonna go. It could be mind blowing. It could be fantastic.
Right.
Yeah.
Well,
so they could show you some things you didn't even know existed. So and then I'd have to kill the Loch Ness monster. I feel like it would be kind of cool to hang the Loch Ness monster up at like the dock in Moorhead City, and get it on the scales.
Hey,
take a picture with it.
If there's a Loch Ness monster in any
put it on the grill,
North Carolina, it's going to be Lake James. Lake James is going to have Loch Ness. If we got
Fontana
so?
Lake.
Oh, okay.
It's the deepest lake east of the Mississippi.
No shit, I didn't know that.
Yeah, it's like over 400 feet.
I think if Steve caught the Loch Ness monster, it would follow along with his channel, and it would be the tiniest Loch Ness ever. It would be, it would still be only 10 inches.
We'd be holding it like this.
Yeah, like don't worry, my hands are wet. Yay.
Yep. No, he's gonna mount it. My hands are wet as he holds it, and then he shows a video of it beside his. Was that your northern strain largemouth from Falls 9 something or?
Is right there. That's
yeah.
That one's from Wheeler, 10.9. from Wheeler.
Oh, I thought you call it from Falls. That one's from Wheeler?
Yeah. Yeah,
What
that
did
was
you
at
say?
Wheeler.
Did you catch it? Is that the one you caught on an A-rig on a laydown? That was in Wheeler?
Mm-hmm.
Wheeler's
Yeah.
got some fucking giants.
All those
Giants
lakes
in
have
there.
giants, man. It's crazy. Yeah. That was just a crazy day too. The wind was blowing like crazy, and every fish we caught was just giant. That lake's been tough. I've been out there probably a handful of times, Wheeler, and like 4 out of 5 times I've been there, I've like almost blanked. So it's just on some days, and some days it's off, I guess.
We had last year. Was it last year? I think it was last year. Will Big Inches Lambert put up like 102 and 105 inches on that lake twice in 1 year.
Wow.
Yeah. Smacked them.
Hey,
Smacked them.
update. And one, this is like a guy who loves you, and he's been on the show before. Adam Minhara. I feel like he gave a shitty comment. Adam said, he said production quality doesn't need to be epic for every video. A really good filmmaker told me that sometimes putting limits on yourself really focus creativity. Hey, Adam, that's the wrong
Adam
fucking
Minhara.
attitude.
Fucking bitch. What an asshole.
Yeah.
I mean,
Adam's
Adam-
been with us since the beginning, man.
He's
been
the
a
one
super
that
fan.
introduced me to you guys, but what a dickhead
No.
comment. Yeah,
He's-
bet on you.
Oh, I don't think I think that's just how
No, he's talking shit. No.
He likes to give advice for sure.
No,
He
that's
does,
not
he
advice.
does.
He's talking
Yeah.
shit. You know what? I'm going to message Adam after this and ask him why.
He's been very gracious with us. He sent us a whole bunch of lures and stuff that he had.
That's
and
awesome.
some stuff that he made too, which is really cool.
No,
Very
he's
cool.
an asshole. That's an asshole
All right.
comment.
All right. Is this better? You
I'm just
guys
kidding,
hurt
Adam.
the fish. They're bleeding. You know that they're a rare species. Sure hope they make it and breed in your friend's pond.
What?
That's got to be the bowfin.
It is. Look at him.
Yeah, yeah. Because that was the only time that we moved some fish from one pond to another.
Bitch, bowfin can live through
Bowfin
the
can-
apocalypse.
Yeah, you could
Yeah.
literally yeet a bowfin off a bridge, and that thing will be fine.
How did those, when y'all moved those bowfin, do you know anything about how they did when you moved them?
So Levi is still out in that area. He's
Okay.
in a town called Coates. Familiar with Coates, Benson area. So he that was his buddy's pond. I think he's fished it several times since then, and I don't know. I don't think they've caught any bowfin out of there. But I don't know if bowfin aren't exactly like something you want to put in a pond. I feel like, but
Why not?
I mean they're
If you
gonna eat everything.
What's in your pond right now? Fucking nothing. Put something in there. Put bowfin in there so you can at least
Yeah.
catch something.
Yeah, I know. We've actually got some fish in there, and I actually just caught some yesterday.
Okay. Okay.
We got some
What'd you
brim. We've got some bluegill and red ear sunfish or shell crackers. And then we got a bunch of like little they call them mosquito fish. So that's kind of like the base of the food chain. And then I'm going to put some more bluegill in there here soon in like a couple weeks. And then the bass are going in after that. The first bass are going in. So that'll be a monumental moment. But
Yeah. You should put spots in there just to help continue their proliferation.
I'm just going to have a pond of 6-inch spots. It's going to be great.
Hey, you know how everybody says that you need to like carve your niche? You should become a private bowfin fishing pond. You just have bowfin in that pond, and that's it. And
Just going to try to grow a world record bowfin.
yeah,
That would
you
actually
just
be
feed
kind of
'em-
cool.
You just feed them bright leaf hot dogs, and motherfuckers will be red just like the hot dogs. They'll be good to go.
You know, I've always thought it'd be cool if it's even possible to artificially create a saltwater pond and have like, I mean, it would cost a bunch of money, but
great white.
yeah, just have like ocean species in there. I mean,
I think it'd
They
be
do
hard
that
to
already.
do.
it would
They
be
do that.
difficult.
Yeah.
It would cost you an arm and a leg.
Yes.
Of salt to get the
Yeah.
salinity right.
Well, because
Yeah.
they do that with tilapia in Asia. Like real talk, they do that with tilapia. They make these, but they're like they're kind of penned off.
Yeah,
Like near the
I feel like
coast.
they've got
Yeah.
salt water coming in from somewhere.
I got
but
you. You want this thing like in
up
the
here
middle.
in the mountains.
You
of
want
North
it in the
Carolina.
mountains. You want to catch a fucking
Have some flounder.
striper,
Yeah,
a striper and a dogfish. That's
Yeah.
it. That's what you
You
do.
get
Yeah.
some Grand Slam. It's going
And
to
a
have
stingray.
redfish and flounder.
No, you build a
Fucking
saltwater pond, and all it has
trout.
is fucking dogfish in it. The
Yeah.
most trash dog water fish there is. That's the only thing you have in it.
It's lizard fish. if you know what
Exactly.
lizard
Yeah,
fish
oyster
is.
fish. Yeah.
Yeah.
Put those in there, right? And you're like, you don't like this? Do you want to go to my bowfin pond instead?
Just have the weirdest pods you could
I love it.
possibly imagine.
I love
You
it.
got
Yeah.
20 acres. You could have, get you about 6 more ponds on that. That's less
Yeah.
grass to cut.
Well, I've thought about putting in like a real small pond that spills into the big pond, and just like growing shiners in there, and just having shiners like
yeah.
constantly,
When it when it
populating.
floods and stuff, the shiners get
Yeah.
sent down in. Hell
Yep.
yeah.
Yeah, if I want to do like a quick feeding, I'd do a cast net in there and get a bunch
Hell
of
yeah.
shiners.
Oh, you make a dike. Just make a dike where you can open it up and send some through.
Bowfin love shiners.
You don't know.
They probably do.
Everything loves shiners.
I'll tell you, bowfin, you don't find them out here, but down east where y'all are, they're a lot more prevalent.
Yep.
And we fly fish for them a couple times. We got one video where we fly
Yeah,
fish for
I
spotted bass.
was gonna
in the
say
river.
people need to go look at that fly fishing video.
It's a
because y'all
great
are sitting on
video.
Yes, hell yeah, and y'all lost. There were some huge ones,
Yeah.
and I think they broke you off because y'all were on that tree about to fall in the fucking water trying to wrangle them up. Because I think a video before that y'all out there were spinner baits or something,
Okay.
and then y'all came back later and made the
Yeah,
video fly
well,
fishing.
That was, I'm trying to remember. So we went to a big pond with a bunch of trees and stumps in it that was actually draining and it was real low. That's where we caught the ones that we moved to the pond, and we fished for those with a spinner bait. And I'm trying to think if we actually fly fish for them there. But this one I'm talking about is I think the video is titled Fly Fishing for Spotted Bass. And there's some rivers that come off the Cape Fear River. And actually the Cape Fear River itself around there has a pretty good population of Kentucky strain spotted bass. Not your like invasive like Alabama bass, but ones that don't take over and are pretty like get pretty big too. It's actually not a lot of people know about it, and it's actually a great fishery. But there's a couple rivers that come off the Cape Fear where you can fly fish for them pretty successfully. And in that video, we went to that river, caught a few spotted bass. At the end of that video, I had like a little interaction with a bowfin where I tried to get him to eat my fly, and he did. And it's all very visual. It's great footage. And you could see him. I mean, he's just sitting there. I'm like creeping the fly past his nose. And I mean, he absolutely snatches it. And I don't think I drove the hook into his mouth because, they've got like this kind of
it's all
bony
scaled
mouths.
up. Yep.
Yeah. They're hard to catch on a fly, but it's something I've wanted to do. I've never caught one on a fly.
Hey, go back and look at
They're
that
cool.
video
They're
out.
cool fish. I like bowfin.
Listen,
Go
that's
back and look at
why.
that video and see if Adam Mahara had some bullshit to say about that too.
Oh, back to that. So Adam said that one comment, but then the video right before that, he put great video as always. Love that you're stepping up the cinematography. And then the next one, he was like, you stepped it up too much. It's too much. It's too much.
It's hard to please Adam Mahara. It really is.
Yeah. Ain't that the truth? Man, I thought this was going to be a really fun game, but unfortunately you just have like a lot of nice people in your comments. So if you guys do us a favor.
Next time I need to come prepared with our top mean comments.
No, I just
We'll
want
read 'em
all of the brewskis to go out there and go to Slab Dynasty and just leave a shitty comment on a bunch of their
all the
videos. Yeah.
Start from the beginning and go
Yep.
all the way through. Blow up his phone. He's going to wake up one morning with tens of 15.
He's like, it finally
Oh, new
happened. I can
comments.
quit my job. And then it's just like, fly fishing's for pussies.
No, go to like our very first video and just be like, this video sucks. That's what everyone needs to do.
Well,
Because they wouldn't be lying.
Yeah, everybody's first videos suck.
Yeah.
I mean, come on. You don't know what you're doing.
Male Karen kicks me off of my hometown pond.
That's, I think, like what our first video was.
It's your second video. Only
Second-
2
okay,
comments.
second video.
Yep, only 2 comments. Damn.
We had a video. I put a lot of videos as I switched them like to private.
Right.
Like a lot of our shitty old videos. But
Yeah.
there's one where we cooked crappie with like we soaked it in White Claw. It was just the stupidest video ever. I'm like looking back on it, I'm like, who cares about this? No one is gonna watch this
You
video
need to
ever.
re-release that one.
Like, do a new
That's what you do.
thumbnail.
No, that's what you do. You go like, we're digging deep into the archives of Slab Dynasty. Here's an oldie, but a goldie, and it's just you cooking crappie. with
thumbnails-
White Claw.
The thumbnails are honestly what's so funny about the old ones. Like,
So
because we
cringy.
just had no idea, how to do Photoshop or anything, and you try your best to cut some stuff out and paste
Yeah.
some stuff and make a pretty picture, and it just they're just terrible. I mean, it looks like Microsoft Paint from 2002.
Oh yeah,
but-
there's one right here. 1v1 fishing challenge. Loser eats what?
Yeah,
And then it's like
that's a good one.
in brackets it says hilarious.
So funny.
And then
how
it's
did the White
literally-
Claw-
Go ahead, Paul.
how'd the White Claw crappie taste?
Like crappy. I mean,
Yeah,
we fried it. It tastes like fried crappie. Yeah, that was a
Y'all-
burning question. The world was.
The loser
Dined
of
it
that
out.
fishing tournament should have had to chug the leftover White Claw that the crappie had been soaking.
oh. Just thinking about it.
Alex,
all
That's
slimy.
what we're doing the weekend of April 11th when you come here.
No.
We're gonna catch, if we catch one over 8, we're gonna fry the eggs. We're gonna
Yeah.
fillet her out. We're gonna soak her in some White Claw surge, and whoever didn't catch the fish has to down the White Claw the fish was fried in.
Ooh, the marinade. That sounds gross. I'll do it. I don't give a fuck.
We've got an old video where we ate a gar, so that was interesting.
Gar's good eating. Gar balls.
Is it?
You got you, yeah, but you.
Oof, I don't know.
not
You
just
fry
a
them.
gar.
You just fry them.
No, fuck no. You take them and you cut them up and you boil them, and then you take
Okay,
them
we
when they're
didn't
done
boil 'em.
boiling, and you scrape the meat off the bones, so you just got meat, and then you make gar balls, and you fry them.
Well,
That's what I
We
just said.
did-
Fry 'em.
It's
we
like a
pretty
salmon
much
patty.
did that. We pretty
Okay.
much did that. We were camping. This is Kerr Lake, Bugs Island, whatever you want to call it. And
How was it?
we went to bed that night, and I think we were all hallucinating. I had some weird dreams. CJ had some weird dreams. It was weird. It was
Yeah.
This was from the gar or from the alcohol?
from the gar. I think it was from the gar.
I mean, maybe. We'll see.
It was greasy.
Yeah.
Maybe we just didn't prepare it right.
How'd y'all cook it?
Yeah, we just like
Put it in
You know,
White
they're
Claw and
so
threw
hard
it
to
in a
cut.
hot.
Shh, let him talk. I
Yeah,
want to hear
I
how they
mean-
prepared it.
I can't quite remember, but we probably did something like that. We probably just threw it in a pan with some White Claw and let it simmer for a little bit
See?
over a fire. Yeah, I mean, we weren't working with the best stuff. We were camping, so we just cut whatever meat we could out of there and threw it in a pan over a fire, pretty much. So
Hey, we've added another question to the shotgun round that you weren't asked.
okay,
And I want to ask you this now because where you lived before in Raleigh or where you live now, this question relates. Have you ever eaten beaver?
no,
What?
I've never. I mean, depends on the type of beaver you're talking about, but
Oh, you dirty son of a gun.
What? How many different species of beaver is there?
I have not had the beaver that swims in ponds. No,
You ain't had no creek beaver?
no creek beaver either. No,
Just that Tar Heel beaver?
just the Tar Heel beaver.
I got you. Me too. Tar Heel beaver, good.
Paul keeps it up. He's going to get a little creek beaver fever is what's going to happen. Also,
Shit,
an
I love
awesome
beaver,
name
beaver.
for a
Have
band.
you actually eaten beaver?
Oh, fuck yeah, it's delicious.
It's good.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
You just skin it out and do just like you would a pig.
Yeah.
Barbecue that bitch up. Good eating.
I'll have to try.
You should.
Maybe after the show. Call never mind.
There might be one that comes lives in this pond out here.
Oh,
so
shit.
I'll have to do that. So I've actually been I'm in a lot of these Facebook groups and stuff for pond management, trying to learn everything I can. And otters, a lot of people think they're real cute, cool animals.
Nasty.
If you see an otter in your pond, you must dispatch that thing immediately.
And eat it.
Yeah, sure. You could do that too.
Probably greasy.
Yeah.
But yeah. They'll eat up everything, and they're nasty. I've had like the baby ones come up to the kayak, and then mama comes charging out, hissing, piss and vinegar. Yeah, they are. Yes,
nasty.
I have.
They're mean, and they will clean out a pond. I mean, they really will. And I've seen enough posts now over the years of people are like, oh, I think I've got an otter. What do I do? Is there any way to just capture it and let it go somewhere else?
Nope.
I don't want to hurt it. And then you get all these comments from these people who are experienced. They're like, you must destroy that otter or you will not have any fish.
That shouldn't be a problem because they don't normally eat bowfin. So you should be pretty set up in your pond.
Bullshit, they'll eat
I
it.
think they'd eat a bowfin.
Yeah. They probably would.
But yeah.
Those fucking
I think they
feet
eat
that you
anything.
put in bowfin skins like nothing.
Yeah, for sure.
Hey, update on the comments. You've gotten blasted a couple times. I haven't mentioned them except for the one about spot burning, right? And that's normal. People are going to bitch about that. But then somebody puts, I'm a few months late on seeing it, but hopefully you can help me out. Can you tell me what river that is? I know you don't want to spot burn, but I'm several hours away and only go there like twice a year, so shouldn't be a big deal. Yeah, hit me up. Like, everybody's yelling about spot burning, but then every one of your videos, everybody's like, where's that at? Can you send me the coordinates? Where's that at?
Yeah, CJ's, he'll sometimes reply to him with like a made up name, like the like some made up like Cherokee name, like the Squalahallahoochee River or something. He's done a few of those.
Hey, listen, if you guys want Beaver Bend.
Beaver Bend over by Jack's hot house.
Yeah. What is the joke? Lick Creek. Down at Lick Creek.
It's
Beaver Bend on Lick Creek. Hell
yeah,
that sounds like a place I want to go.
It's Bigfoot's bend over Stump Creek is where it's at.
Bigfoot's beaver.
Hey, listen, if you guys want any of these coordinates, though, I know how you can get them. What you got to do first is go to patreon.com/Bass and Brews. Sign up to be a producer, and Steve already promised he will send you all of the fake coordinates that you could want. None of them will be real.
Hey, Alex, I hope you're proud of me. I didn't forget to shout that out.
Oh, good.
Last episode. But I did a terrible job because I couldn't remember what the channel was called.
He's such a fucking idiot. Oh, props to that, though. Again, huge thank you to everybody who helped support the show through Patreon. This month is actually 1 year of doing the last call show for the Patreon members. We've been doing this for a year now, the Friday live show. So again, to all you producers, thank you very much. If you'd like to help support the show, you could do it. If you don't, that's fine. I'll just think about you when I have one of those really hard shits and I need to curse somebody out. Like, that's what I'm going to be thinking about is you if you don't want to help support it. But
also, talking about Patreon, in 29 days, that week's episode is, we're at 29 days. There's going to be a live episode on Saturday. So you'll get your regular podcast on Friday. On April 12th, you're going to get a live podcast. I hope I'm not sure. We got to get there. If it doesn't work out, we're going to record it anyway and release it the next week. But if everything works out right, we're going to have a live podcast recording on April 12th. We don't know exactly the time because Alex and I are meeting for the first time. We're going to be camping, and it's going to be Alex, myself, and I think Hand Job Adventures is going to be
plenty of stumps available, boys, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, that sounds like a good time.
It's going to be a wonderful time.
I can't wait for Paul to recreate the Christine Fisher, patented doing the ballerina dance on the front of his Hobie. I'm pretty sure his fat ass won't tip it at all. We're going to find out how much taller Paul is compared to me as well. I think you guys will be shocked. Also, we're going to rig up. We've got the thermal ready. We've got the microphones. We've got the slow-mo to figure out if Paul can actually hug a fart out of me. So,
Yep.
Should be a good time.
Have it ready. Steve, that's a good excuse for you to come hang out for the weekend. Come camp with us April 11th through the 12th.
April 11th through 12th. I am going to be in the turkey woods.
Fuck you, Steve.
That weekend.
Dude, I can get turkey at the grocery store if you want me to bring it over to the campsite. Like just some sliced turkey, no problem.
Hey, Mo,
okay. All right then.
There's going to be turkey on. There's going to be turkey on Jordan.
Yeah, there's some good game lands out there.
Yeah,
Dude, there's turkey everywhere. You can get it at Wawa. You can get it. I think you can get a turkey sandwich at McDonald's. Like it's everywhere.
Turkey strutting around like a little short bitch.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Calling
All right,
for
everybody.
Goblin.
Well, Steve, it's been great to have you on the show. Thank you so much for coming back. Anybody you want to shout out? Anything you want to shout out before we close this one up?
I mean, shout out you guys. It's cool to see this thing going, and I need to get on here sooner. Life is still a little crazy, but this just brought back a whole lot of good memories. And
Hell yeah, man.
yeah, we need to. We definitely need to go fishing for sure. So if y'all are ever out in the western part of the state, we need to try to do something.
Alex lives in New Jersey. So if you want to meet Alex, you have to come over April 12th.
Okay, because we're not going up to New Jersey. I don't think.
Oh, fuck you guys! Hey, everybody!
I
Thanks
will
for
say
listening.
this, Steve. Where you go? Steve, look, I got people with boats down here. So if you want to come, let's come, and we'll get out on the boat and we'll have a good.
That sounds good.
Listen, Steve, if you want to come, he'll come with you. You guys all come together. All you jackasses have the day that you guys deserve. Don't be an asshole to each other unless you really deserve it.